Let's head over and talk to Lewis here in Orlando. Got a 99 Camry. Tell me what's going on with this thing, Lewis.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
What I'm experiencing is when I started on after I've left the car sit, like say overnight, I'm experiencing blue smoke coming out. So I'm afraid it may be the valve stem seals or perhaps a piston ring. I'm not sure.
Are you adding a lot of oil to it, Lewis?
I'm missing about a quarter of a quart a month I've been adding.
Okay, so it's not a lot. What you're describing is valve guide seals, pretty much point blank. On that engine, it's kind of like this. I have replaced valve guide seals with the head on the car, but it's not for the faint of heart. I will tell you that. It is very, very, very difficult to do valve guide seals with the head still bolted to the block. Is this a car, Lewis, that you're really kind of thinking about just hanging on to for a while?
Well, yes. I just took 2 years from an older couple, and it hit 90,000 miles.
Oh,
and that's me putting about 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah, geez, that's good transportation for a long time to come. Listen, this is the if it was mine, or let's say I was fixing this car out for a customer and I wanted them, to be able to keep it on the road for a long period of time, I'd bite the bullet. I'd pull the head off of it. I'd send it out to the machine shop. Let them go ahead and do a full-blown valve job on it with all new valve guide seals. Slap it all back together with a new head gasket set, new head bolts. On that one, I believe it uses a timing belt. If it's due for that, I'd go ahead and do that as well. I'm going to be quite honest with you, and this is probably as much as you've got into the car, but you're probably going to spend a couple grand on this thing. By the time it's all done and tuned up, a new timing belt, tensioners, water pump, valve job, the whole 9 yards. But you got to look at it like this. Lewis, you could drive that car for another 10 years. If you leave it the way it is, what you're going to wind up experiencing is the oil that is seeping down between the valve stems and the valve guides. It's getting on the spark plugs and on top of the pistons. That burnt, it's turning into carbon. So what's going to wind up happening is you're going to have a very underperforming engine, and then you're going to, not only with the oil consumption, but you're also going to start eventually fouling out the spark plugs as well. It's one of them situations to where, this is not one you're going to fix with mechanic in a can. Your best bet would be to go ahead and just do a valve job on it, and get it all sealed back up. Make sure the cooling system's good to go. And like I said, you could drive this thing for another 10 years. But left the way it is, you're going to start experiencing problems, shortly, on down the road here. It won't be long. But this is something that's worth, if the car's in good shape otherwise and no more miles it's on it, then it's on the car. I'm like, this is a good investment. This is not a bad investment. I know it might sound like a lot of money, which it is, but you're better off putting that little bit of money into this car and button it up that way, and it'll give you a lot more good service. I've seen those things come in the shop with 500,000 mile on them and just still going. You just can't kill them. But the valve guide seals, if that car would have had AMSOIL in it since the day it was born, you wouldn't have this problem. Because see, AMSOIL, when it's in an engine, it keeps all the seals soft and resilient. It keeps them soft so that way retaining springs can actually pull tighter against the seals. With the oil that's been in this engine over a long period of time, which has been, who knows, probably petroleum oil, it makes the seals get hard. And when they do, they can't seal properly. And that's why you're having the issue that you're having, even though it's at a relatively very low mileage. You've got an age factor there, but it's the oil that's been used previously that's causing the problem that you have now. But I'd go ahead and do a valve job on it. I think it's well worth the investment. Lewis, thank you so much for your call, and I hope that helps you. But ring-wise, as far as your piston rings go, I would not worry about those at all. I think that they're fine. It just needs the valve job done.